What's going on, everybody? One Shinobi here, and today I'm going to break down all the distances of visual audio and actual sound in Fortnite. You're going to learn all the visual audio secrets and distances for weaponry, enemy movement, healing items, as well as how to go completely stealth to your enemy. That's right, not just crouch walking, but ninja sneaking. Yes, you are going to be a ninja. You're also going to learn the difference between the sound of footsteps above you and below you, because I think we've all been confused by this for too long. Now, before we jump into it, we need to make sure you're using visualized sound effects. If you aren't, you should definitely turn it on because it gives you a huge advantage in the game. It's found under audio settings. This will show you all kinds of audio cues on your screen as small icons, as well as the direction they're coming from before you can even hear those effects in the game. That includes footsteps, gunshots, enemy healing, vehicles driving, zip lines, people riding animals, etc. Alright, let's start off with gunshot audio distances. The first discovery we've made is that normal gunshots can be seen on visual audio from 260 meters out. They're seen on your compass at the top of your screen at 270 meters out. You can actually hear those gunshots in your ears at about 250 meters out with headphones on in a super quiet area. Now that's really interesting because if I want to find some enemies to fight, I can get within 260 meters of a POI by marking it on my map and then just fire a bunch of bullets to see if I can find some friends. Another interesting discovery about gunshots is that suppressed weapons like the suppressed Havoc assault rifle don't show up on visual audio until 90 meters out, which is a giant difference of 170 meters between a normal weapon and a suppressed weapon. Again, a normal weapon is seen at 260 meters with visual audio, so suppressed weapons do have some extra utility for staying somewhat stealth at long distances. Although I still don't think the Havoc suppressed rifle is worth carrying in any situation. Alright, now let's get into footstep distances on visual audio and normal hearing. You can see footstep icons up to 20 meters away with visual audio, whether they're sprinting or jogging. You can hear those same footsteps with your ears up to 25 meters away. So once an enemy is within a 20 meter radius of your character, you'll start to see their footsteps if they aren't crouched. Now, there are three major exceptions to that. One is that once they enter your audio radius of 20 meters, you are now able to track them further out to about 25 meters before their footstep icons disappear, meaning that your footstep radar range expands by about 5 meters once it initially begins tracking an enemy. The same goes for all other visual audio that's tied to movement, so cars, grind rails, gliders, riding animals, and zip lines. The sound radius expands a bit once they've entered your radar. Another exception to the 20 meter range of footsteps is that sprint jumping can be seen much further out, at about 60 meters, which is triple the normal range. When an enemy sprints into a jump, you can temporarily see that footstep icon when they land for about a second at 60 meters away or closer. What this tells us is that if you're trying to move stealth into a POI or a location you think players are at, you should definitely not be sprint jumping within 60 meters of it. You can sprint or jog outside the 20 meter mark and be fine, but don't sprint jump. Another interesting exception to the 20 meter footstep range is with sliding. When an enemy enters a slide before the 20 meter mark, they stay completely off the radar until they begin standing up again. That means you can initiate a slide toward your enemy at 20 meters out and slide right up against them without them ever seeing it on visual audio. Where this really makes sense is on inclines or when using the new mudslide mechanic. If an enemy is down a hill, say hiding under a bridge, you can slide down the hill right up to them without them ever seeing your footsteps, and then just stay crouched after the slide and you'll still be going undetected. This is very powerful with a new mudslide mechanic since you can slide over 30 meters when you're covered in mud. You can also combo this with mobility equipment for hyper stealth speed slides out of the sky. Okay, so crouched footsteps can be heard audibly until about 20 meters out. Anyone with a good headset will hear crouch walking noises within about 15 meters pretty easily. That's about 3 tile lengths. So if you thought you were silent when you were just crouch walking around a POI trying to sneak up on someone, you definitely aren't, and they can definitely hear you if they have headphones. But now, I'm gonna let you in on a Shinobi secret, something that my clan has held close to our chest for over 300 years. When you are crouch walking, you are quieter and your footsteps don't show on visual audio. Yes, we all know that. You can be heard, but you're definitely quiet. But when you crouch walk and aim down sights, you are incredibly quiet, to the point that 90% of players will not hear you when you are moving right around them. So, as long as they are not sitting in silence, listening for you, you will go undetected like a true ninja. Do not share this information with anyone you do not trust with your life. Keep it secret. Keep it safe. Alright, we've also discovered the difference between footstep sounds when they're above you versus below you. When footstep sounds are above you, they have a higher pitch and a much less muffled noise. When footsteps are below you, they have a lower pitched and a much more muffled noise, with a more bassy sound. Let's play a few clips so you can hear the difference. Footsteps on my level. Footsteps above. Footsteps below. Alright, an easy way to remember this is that footsteps below are low in pitch. Footsteps above are high. Okay, now I'm going to quickly cover visual audio distances for a bunch of other enemy interactions that you'll commonly see during a game. Glider distances are seen at 140 meters away, so if you want to stay off your enemy's visual radar, definitely try to swing wide and stay outside of 150 meters just to be safe. This can be a really powerful way to flank an enemy without them being aware of your presence. Just mark them with a pin and then stay about 150 meters away as you glide around them. Now, visual audio for an enemy swimming is seen at 40 meters away. Think twice about crossing a river while close to an enemy unless they're further than 40 meters. Alright, now let's look at some movement abilities in case they return to the game. Spider glove swinging distances can be seen at 60 meters away, but only when the swing is active. When you break the web, you're no longer on visual audio. So it's much more effective to tap your webs and disconnect them rather than do long swings when you're near your enemies so you can sneak up on them. ODM gear can be seen 100 meters away when an enemy is swinging. So again, if you know the location of an enemy and you want to sneak up on them, you can mark their rough position on the map and then stay about 120 meters away to be sure that they won't see you flanking. Now, I'm not sure about the grapple glove visual audio because I can't access it right now, but there's a good chance it works similar to the spider glove at 60 meter range. It could also be the same as ODM at 100 meters though, so we'll just have to find out if it returns to the game. The kinetic blade can be seen up to 160 meters away, but it just appears as a gunshot on visual audio, so it's pretty sneaky in its nature unless people are paying attention. Then you'll be spotted from pretty far out. The kinetic boomerang is seen at a whopping 240 meters away as a unique icon of a boomerang that lasts for a solid few seconds. This is tragic because this weapon is just totally trolling anyone who uses it. For one, the kinetic boomerang is pretty awful and only works when players are out in the open without cover. It's okay in close range combat without cover when you're able to move well, but that doesn't justify carrying it because when you carry it and you use it, anyone can see your exact position from 240 meters away or closer. So I'd say just don't use this weapon unless you want to be found. But on the flip side, it can be used to set up a good trap by throwing it around and waiting for enemies to come running because it's very obvious on visual audio. Vehicles are not as bad as I thought because you only can begin to see them on visual audio at 75 meters away, which is pretty close. They're actually kind of sneaky, to be honest. You already know that I advocate for driving cars, and this is just one more reason to do it. Zipline visual audio can be seen up to 100 meters away, which is pretty crazy. The biggest thing about this is that you pretty much know exactly where your enemy is once you've seen the zipline visual audio, because ziplines don't move and they're static in nature. Honestly, this is one that should be nerfed because you can't even hear a zipline from 50 meters away, but you can see it from twice as far. What's up with that, Epic? Your standard grind rail can be seen from a whopping 120 meters away, which again is totally overpowered for visual audio since you can't even hear them from about 60 meters away. Now, surprisingly, the new vine rails that you can find in the jungle can only be seen from 75 meters away when someone's using them, so they're a much sneakier form of movement. This is just another reason to be utilizing these new vine rails and staying off the jungle floor, which, as I've stated before, is a death trap. Enemies riding raptors and wildlife can be seen from 60 meters away, which is pretty stealthy. It doesn't seem to matter if they're sprinting, jumping, or jogging, they're seen from 60 meters out. But if you're standing still while riding one, you cannot be seen at all. Quick correction, I just did a test with wolves and boars instead of raptors and realized that they're actually seen at 120 meters away on visual audio, which is literally double the distance of raptors. So wolves and boars are much riskier to ride because they're seen at much further out, but they also have quite a bit more stamina for covering longer distances. Raptor eggs that can be hatched are seen at 10 meters away in case you want to find one. so you have to be pretty close to one to see it on visual audio. Now, breaking objects is kind of interesting. There's no visual audio icon for pickaxing something, but you can hear it up to 55 meters away. After 55 meters away, it's completely silent. Let's just call that 60 for ease. So yeah, if you're breaking walls, ceilings, floors, you can be heard up to 60 meters away. Now let's jump into healing audio, starting with the worst offenders. Chug splashes can be seen on visual audio from 50 meters away. A chug cannon can be heard and seen from a whopping 260 meters away and has a very distinct cannon noise. For mini shields, med mist, big pots, health packs, and legendary slurps, they're all seen on visual audio at 7 meters away, which honestly is really surprising to me because I thought the range was much wider. So you can feel safe healing within medium combat range of an enemy. Just keep in mind that med mist does have a visual effect that can be seen through walls, so stay away from them if you want to be sneaky. Apart from that, you're pretty safe being undetected in the same building as someone as long as they're not within 7 meters of you while you're healing, which is basically just over a tile length. Now, slap juices are interesting because they can be heard from 35 meters away, but can only be seen on visual audio until 7 meters away, which seems like a big disadvantage for deaf people, and Epic Games, you might want to look into that. All right, I know that was a lot of information, so here's a handy dandy recap. Gunshots are seen at 260 meters out unless they are suppressed to 90 meters. Footsteps are seen at 20 meters away. Sprint jumps are seen at 60 meters away. All healing items except chug splashes and cannons are only seen at 7 meters away. Slap juices can be heard at 35 meters, but only seen at 7. Gliders are seen at 140 meters away. Enemies swimming are seen at 40 meters away. Swinging mobility items are seen at 60 to 100 meters away, depending on the gear. Grind rails are seen at 120 meters. Vine rails are seen at 75 meters. Vehicles are seen at 75 meters away. Enemies riding raptors are seen at 60 meters away. Enemies riding wolves or boars are seen at 120 meters away. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. I know it answered a lot of my own questions when I was making it, which has helped me become a much more informed and sneakier player. If you did find the video helpful, please leave a like on the video. It really helps me out. If you have any questions or comments, leave a comment below. I try to respond to every single question. If you have not subscribed yet, you probably should, because I've got a great library of zero build content that I promise is going to make you a better player. And if you like technical breakdowns like this, you probably want to watch this next video. Have a great day. Shinobi out.